Hello, this is me. I'm Patrick, and today I want to show you my new and improved Research Bureau Calculator Excel spreadsheet. Now, before I show you how it works, please let me reiterate some basics. In the game, there's an in-game currency called Research Points or Research Bureau Points. You can find these research points, for example, in containers such as super containers, or you can get them via the battle pass or in the dockyard events, maybe even other events. But the most common way of obtaining research points is through commencing tagline resets. Take one example, the British destroyer tagline, and when I open the tag tree, I have the option to reset it. And once I do this, every ship that is in my port will get purged from my account. I will receive 50% reimbursement on the initial credit costs though, and then I have to research the whole line again, like you see here on the ship, like you see here on the screen. I have to research the whole line again, and once I have done this, these ships come back, but now they have research points attached to them. From tier 5 onwards down to tier 10. And in order to unlock them, I only have to play these ships then for one victory, and then these research points will get transferred over into my account. And I can take these research points, go to the armory, to the Research Bureau section, and then, for example, can buy a number of ships, or I can buy unique upgrades, just as an example. So, before we dive right into the spreadsheet itself, just let me give you a couple of disclaimers. First, please, most of the colored cells that you find here in the spreadsheet, they contain some kind of formula. You see, they all have formulas in them, like here, like here. So I would ask you not to overwrite any cell, because this would overwrite the formula and then make the spreadsheet not work any longer. So all you have to do is to work in these bright orange cells, like them, and you will always find a drop-down menu where you can choose the kind of information that is necessary for the spreadsheet to work. Like here, for example, you can choose between the several taglines. Here you can choose, for example, if it is a normal reset or a double reset, and in these cells you also can decide or choose between yes or no to some of the questions that I'm gonna ask you here on the left side of this matrix. Good. Also, some other disclaimers up front. If you are a clan player, you will receive a discount on the ship price depending on the expansion level of your clan shipyard. This calculator is operating with the normal stock ship prices. The same goes for the research points that you earn. If you are a clan player, you will receive a bonus depending on the expansion level of your research institute. Another thing I want to express beforehand is, in real life, obviously you can start by grinding a ship through playing it, and then later on decide to fill up the rest of the necessary ship XP to its successor with free XP. This calculator forces you to decide beforehand if you either grind a ship completely or use free XP completely to get to the next ship up in the tech line. Also, Wargaming might decide to bring out future tech lines, integrate them into the game. Please don't expect that I comment central updates on this spreadsheet, but towards the end of the video I will show you how you can integrate new taglines easy for yourself, or if you find mistakes and errors, how you can correct them. And last but not least, all the data in this spreadsheet I have taken from the World of Warships wiki, so no guarantees, and also I might have done some mistakes, finger trouble. You know, it's kind of tedious work, and I'm not a professional, so excuse me if you find any errors in it. Please let me know, or please correct them yourself. Okay. Good. Next I will show you how my Research Bureau Calculator spreadsheet works, and I do this based on a practical example to show you all the functionality, because it's quite a lot. So the example will be the British destroyer tagline. You see all my ships that I have here, the Icarus, Jervis, Lightning, Jutland and the Daring. The first question that you have to answer is, which tagline do you want to reset? And I go in the first calculation window, here. And this is what I'm doing. I select British destroyers. I could select any other line, British submarines, European gunboats, whatever. But let's stay with the example, British destroyers. And you see here, or in this part of the matrix, all the necessary data for the British destroyer tagline has shown up. You also see that one column remains empty. So why is this? As you see here in the tag tree, not every tagline has the same amount of ships. For example, the complete British destroyer tagline has 2 ships on tier 2. The first is the Weymouth, that's a tier 2 cruiser, and then the Medea, which is a tier 2 destroyer. If, for example, take the British battlecruiser line, they have only 1 tier 2 ship, but they have 3 ships at tier 3. They have the Caledon, they have the Bellerophon, this is just a battleship, and then they have the Fatigable, which is the first real battlecruiser. And the light cruisers, they are straightforward from tier 2 to tier 10, no tier is doubled. And as you see here as well, if you for example compare this with the British light cruisers, they have 2 empty columns, pardon me. And if you switch to the British battle cruisers, they have no empty columns. All the necessary columns are filled. But let's go back to the British destroyers. Next question is it a double reset or not? In my instance, it would be a double reset. So this shows you then here the amount of research points that I would unlock upon a full line reset. Next question is, have my old ships been refunded? And follow up, what's been the module upgrades on these ships? Have they been refunded? So I can show you, for example, if you have the Weymouth and you want to progress towards the Caledon, the hull upgrade is mandatory. In order to reach the Caledon, you have to research the hull upgrade first, it's in the middle. It's mandatory. The gunfire control module would be optional, but if you want to go from Weymouth to Medea, you have to research the gunfire control system upgrade. And then this module is mandatory and the hull upgrade would be optional, right? And here in port you can see I've got what types of modules I have installed on my ships, module upgrades, pardon me, I've installed on my ships, because all these modules, or module upgrades, they will be sold as well. They will all get deleted from my account and I have to research and then perhaps even buy and install them again. So going back to my spreadsheet. So, have the old ships been refunded? No, because I didn't have the Weymouth, so pardon me, obviously no. No for the Weymouth and all of the modules. No for the Medea. Same goes for the mandatory and the optional upgrades. Valkyrie would be the same. No refunds. Wakeful. Acasta. Pardon me. I slipped with my hand. But from Icarus onwards, all these ships, obviously, they will be auto-sold. And I have to mark them with a Y for yes. So this is Jutland. And then, last but not least, Daring as well. And then you have the refund section of the first line reset basically answered. The next section is the free XP section. The question now is, do I want to research the ship by a normal grinding, or do I want to use my free XP on my account to fast track the research progress? Let's just assume in this instance I'm gonna do it with free XP. So I'm gonna use free XP on the Weymouth and also on her mandatory module upgrade, so that I can then progress towards the Medea and do it the same way. All of these ships I use free XP on for the ship and the mandatory module upgrade, but let's say I'm not gonna research on the optional upgrades if there are any, because maybe it's not necessary. I will show you what I mean by it. So, Jutland again, and finally Daring. And the last question is, do I want to buy the ships back? And in this example, I don't want to buy it back, because I want to commence a second tech line reset right after I have researched the Daring. And actually, I don't need to research any mandatory module. I mean, tier 10 ships don't have mandatory module upgrades anyway, but I research the ship and then I can commence another tech line reset. I'm going into the second calculation window. Again, I'm choosing British destroyers, but this time it would be a normal reset. So this time, as you see here, all the ships that I had in port, they have been sold. I cannot auto sell them again, so I can leave these cells empty, or I can select no. It wouldn't make any difference. Next question is, do I want to use free XP to research the ship? And let's say I'm gonna start again using free XP on all of them, except for when I have reached tier 5, because I'm gonna play the ships anyway, right? I have to play them to unlock the research points. So from tier 5 onwards, when I'm going down from tier 5 from the Acasta to tier 6, I'm start playing the ship. So I'm not research the mandatory module of the Acasta. I research it not with free XP, I research it through ship XP to the rewards that I gain after each battle. And the same now goes for every successor tech line ship. This also means, I mean, if I want to do it handily via playing, I need to buy the ships, but this is what I wanted anyway, right? So I buy the Acasta, I buy all the modules because I want the ship back in port. The same now for the Icarus, Same now for the Jervis, the HMS Lightning, the battle class destroyer HMS Jutland, and last but not least the HMS Daring. So, and you see here on the left hand of the screen you have always these summaries of each calculation window, and if you scroll up to the top on the top left top left side of your screen you have the total results, the total summary. So in order to gain 30,600 research points, this would be the amount of free XP spent in this simulation. Under the simulation, this would be the amount of credits spent. But 30,000 more research points would not be enough in this example for me to obtain this lava. And let's say I really want to buy this lava right now. I don't want to wait for another 3 months. So I am committed, therefore, to reset the British Destroyer tagline for a third time. So I'm going into the third window now. Again, I'm gonna choose British Destroyers. Here they are. It would be a normal reset again. And I fast-tracked these. All of these ships, none of them have been sold. But obviously starting with Arcasta, because I've bought them back, yes. That would be purged from my account again. Making this a little bit faster. Next question. Using free XP? Yes. And again, no free XP from Arcasta onwards, but this means I'm gonna buy the ships. And obviously also gonna buy all the module upgrades. I don't want to have sail them around stock. And there we are. So here I can see the intermediate result. 40,000 research points, that would be enough. The amount of free XP that I would have to pay is absolutely acceptable, but the credit price, that seems way too high. 67 million credits. Even if I get a clan member discount, I really want to see if I can shave some of these credits off. And this is where the functionality comes in, because you can manipulate every cell according to your own and special needs and develop a Research Bureau tagline reset strategy fitting to your personal amount of free XP and credits. So let's start right here in the second window. If I commence a third tagline reset, I really don't need to buy these ships, right? I can just leave them. So no, 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 and so on. It's enough for me to buy the ships in the third instance and then to unlock them while playing them. So if I don't buy them back, but this then also means that I have to use free XP while going forward in the tagline, or after the second tagline reset, right? So using free XP on the Arcasta's module, then on the Icarus ship, on the Icarus module upgrade, Jervis mandatory module upgrade, Lightning mandatory module upgrade, Jutland mandatory module upgrade, up to the Daring. So that's where we are. So for the third tagline reset, now this means if I hadn't bought these ships, I could not have sold them, right? So I alter all the cells here. Again, you can do this via drop-down menu. It just takes a little bit longer. didn't have the ships, so I couldn't buy them. And auto sell. The rest stays the same. So what does this mean now? Oof, 1.5 million free XP. That's something. Let me see if everything's alright. Here certainly, yes, everything's alright. Second time also just using free XP the whole line through. And here free XP, and for my caster onboards I started grinding. Now let's assume that maybe I want to get some of the free XP away here in the second line. Certainly I don't need to use free XP on all the ships, right? For example, what if I just start playing the low tier ships? They make fun, it's fast, and they are not that expensive, so I can do this. So, switch to no. Weymouth, Medea, Valkyrie, Wakeful, and even Acasta. Let's say I'm gonna play all these ships, including the Acasta maybe, or maybe not the Acasta. From Acasta onwards I start using free XP up to the Daring. Now this means I have to buy them, but I only buy the stock ship and play the stock ship. I think I'm good enough at these lower tiers to play the ships as they come out stock. So this goes also for the Wakeful. Right. On the third instance, this means these ships get auto-sold and I get refunded. And let's just assume in the third instance I'm gonna play all these ships because I want to, yeah. Keep everything as it is. Did this make any difference? No. Saved a tiny bit of free XP, got a little bit more expensive. Maybe I play a couple more ships in the second instance. Let's say I'm also gonna play the Jutland and the Icarus and the Jervis. So this means I'm not gonna use free XP on the Lightning, but once I have the Lightning I'm gonna use free XP all the way up to the Daring. This means I will also buy the Acasta. I play the Acasta stock, I play the Icarus with the hull upgrade, and I'm gonna play the Jervis with all her upgrades. So there we are. In the third instance now this means that I get reimbursed for even more ships. Acasta, just the stock ship, Jervis, the stock ship and its mandatory module upgrade, and pardon me, the Icarus obviously, and Jervis, all three cells have to be marked with yes, everything else can stay no. And here in the third calculation window I think I'll leave everything still as it is. From Acasta onwards I buy the ships and then I'm also gonna play them. Good. So how are we now? 1.3 million free XP and about 41 million credits to be spent for 40,800 research points. Et voila! This, for example, would now be my decision to make. Your decision might be different, and you have 3 more calculation windows for you to commence multiple tagline resets. Also, you don't need to plan always with the same tagline. You can say that you're gonna do different taglines. and use different strategies. Again, the calculator is flexible enough that you can play around before you press any button in the game. And the next thing I'm gonna show you is how to integrate new taglines or how to change some of these values. So, in order to change values in the Research Bureau Calculator spreadsheet, you have to go from the Research Bureau Calculator tab to the Additional Data tab. And this is basically the data heart or the data center for everything involved. I've locked the view, I've locked the columns and the headers, so that when you scroll through this matrix, that you can always see the head rows and the head column. When you scroll through the matrix, so what you see here, let me just explain, these are the values that you see in each of these columns here, right? So you find on the left side you find all the taglines. Then in the next line you find the amount of normal research points that you could get for each tagline reset, and then all these ship columns start from column 1 to column 11. So if you find an error or if something changes, let's go for example here into the British Destroyer tagline, and let's say maybe the ship you don't want it to call Weymouth, it shall be named HMS Weymouth, right? Just alter the cell here, and there it is, HMS Weymouth, right? You can manipulate every value that you find here. Let me revert it back. Here, for example, you have the SXP. SXP stands for Ship XP for the ship. In this column here, you have the Ship XP for the mandatory module. Here you have the Ship XP for the optional modules. This is the ship price in credits. The credits for the mandatory module upgrade and the credits for the optional module upgrades. So this is relatively easy. So if you find something or if you want to change something, all you have to do is to find the right cell and then you can alter it. But what if a new tagline comes out? Well, that's relatively easy because how can I explain? I use the formula VLOOKUP for this matrix. Like for example, I can show you here. It's the German version now, but S-Verweis is basically the German version of VLOOKUP in Excel. And it basically defines a reference cell, that's E24, this is basically which cell shall be taken as a reference in the matrix to find, and then it also shows the row, the column in which to look for, but it also specifies the boundaries of the matrix, and they are already specified, but it's flexible. Starting with A9, cell A9 to CL60 in the additional data spreadsheet. So AL9 is this cell and CL60 that's this cell. So from here to here. All these cells belong to the data matrix, and if you want to enter a new tagline, all you have to do is insert a new line. Just speculate that at some point there might be, I don't know, what can we do? Maybe French submarines, or maybe European submarines, right? At some point there might be European submarines coming, so I'm just gonna insert a new line, European submarines, then I fill in all the data. Here's submarine line, tier 2, ship 1, and then the data. Whatever, doesn't make, it's not important, but all you have to do is insert a line, and automatically you will see in every cell in the main tab that the boundaries of the matrix have been furthered for one more row. And you can find now these European submarines everywhere here in all these drop-down menus. And these are British submarines, but European submarines, right? And you see tier 2, ship 1, and these fantasy values and everything. And the spreadsheet would work fine. Now, if you want to add for some reason or another column, I don't know, maybe Wargaming in future brings out tier 12 ships and makes the super ships the new tier 11 ships. You can do this. Obviously, you can just copy paste and then fill out everything. But then this means that you have to find each formula here and change the boundary, set the correct new boundary, and also for the cell in which column to look at, you also need to change perhaps the value here. So that's not as easy, but it is doable. You can find on YouTube videos that explain you how the VLOOKUP function works, and then you can do this. It's really not as hard. So just let me delete the European submarines for the moment, and if I'm gonna do this, then obviously they are aren't any longer in the drop-down menu here as well. I mean, they are still here, but there's no data attached to it, and I can't select it again. Okay, this is it from my side so far, and if you have questions, maybe, I don't know, you can find me on the Discord, and if you have ideas or remarks, maybe you can find me on Discord. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful for you, and I thank you for your interest. Goodbye.